here. Okay. So it's 7:03. Going to call the March meeting of the Lunenburg Green Committee to order, and all that wonderful stuff. Just as a housekeeping, we're going to go look for. Just want to do the minutes. Did you get a chance to look at the minutes for the February 3rd?
Yeah, I sent out a revised one with just was the updated. There was a name that was incorrect. So
Okay.
All right. So Matt, you want to make a motion there?
I'll move approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
All right, I'll second. All in favor? Oh,
Aye.
with Zoom, I got to do it this way. Sorry.
Yeah.
Kim, you okay with accepting?
aye.
Matt, okay?
Aye.
And an aye for me. So we're okay there. All right. So next wonderful thing is we ask for comments from the public, but we got seeing no public on here. We're going to stick with just our group here. Kim, Kelly Brown was also going to. I've asked Matt O'Keefe. He's our Unitil representative. Matt was instrumental and really helped us a lot when it came to getting the grant together and the paperwork ready for the grant for the mini splits, or should I say, yeah, for the mini splits over at the elementary school. So I've asked him to join to kind of talk about things. Kelly Brown, also our representative from DOER, will be joining. She's probably going to be closer to 7:15. I was going to try to stall till 7:15, but I want to be cognizant of Matt's time. So I'm going to let Matt, I'm going to let you, if you want, I can talk about the styrofoam thing, but it's up to you if, how much time you want to give us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's, what do you want to know? So essentially from Unitil's perspective, we actually just received word on Friday that Mass DPU has approved the next 3-year energy efficiency plan. So starting in 2025, going to the end of 2027. So it's funding continued as the programs have existed for many years, as you know. Not much has shifted as far as how the programs are designed, so we'll still be here to support the town as you're doing any projects in any of the facilities. As what started in the last 3-year plan will continue in this 3-year plan, with an emphasis on electrification. So as you mentioned, Dave, the grant that you've worked with the state to get for the primary school heat pump project, we will be bringing funding along with the state to support that project. I do want to, so I think we've sent out a kind of letter of expected incentive amount for that project. Now that we have an actual 2025 program plan in place, I'd like to just kind of update we don't have any signatures on anything, which is fine. But I'd like to just update the project application to 2025's documentation, and then send that along. But I just want to make sure that it's the same people that we kind of talked with back in the fall, which was Susan Gilson as the point person for the schools. That sound right?
Correct. Yes. Susan's still the point person for the schools. Yes.
Okay, perfect. So then the only other thing that would be helpful, because it'll be jointly funded by Unitil, and for that facility anyway, it's gas coming from National Grid. So if you could find the gas account for the primary school and send that along to me, then I'll update the documentation there. But everything else will stay the same dollar amount that we've already talked about.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So Matt, I guess the biggest thing for us is we're trying to understand, trying to get some help with how do we prepare the next project? Because, that was really, I don't want to, we dumped that on you in the last minute. And
you did. Yeah.
And by the way, it took that long to get them to understand what heat pumps are supposed to be used for. and hence the word heat pump, not air conditioning pump type of thing. So
Yeah, well, and I think we talked a little bit about it when we met on site, back in the fall, and then a few kind of back and forth emails since. The one new offering that we have, and it was kind of in its infancy back in the fall, but now it's fully available. We're calling them decarbonization plan audits, or whatever you want to call it, but it's basically a heat pump specific audit that will meet folks on site that are interested in doing some type of electrification project for their facility. So I highly encourage it. I think you talked last about Turkey Hill being kind of next on your target list for a project. So I would suggest that we bring that group in and do an audit of that facility. And just they talk about right sizing of equipment, the best type of system, whether it's ductless like a mini split, or ducted, getting the heat and the air conditioning into a pre-existing ventilation duct system. There's also other types of technologies out there, like they call variable refrigerant, VRF systems. So they'll help kind of find like what's best suited for that type of facility, the way that it's currently designed. So I would encourage it. It's, like I said, it's a new offering. It's free. And if anything else, it's just going to give you here's what you might want to consider if you're going to move forward with an electrification project for that facility, at some point in the near future.
all right. Yeah, so that's very, very interesting to us. I mean, is there anything that we need to fill out, or?
So there's an online kind of scheduling tool, so I can share that with you. And then realistically though, if you know of some dates and times, we can reach out to them to make sure that they're going to have somebody available. And I'd like to show up as well and kind of see the audit process. So it'd be good to just kind of coordinate with everybody, but I'll definitely let you take the lead as far as trying to schedule a time that works for anybody from your committee that you want to be involved.
Okay, Matt, now are these grants more, is it more advantageous on the school side, or is this also in the town side?
It's for any facility. So it's not and it's not a grant. It's an auditing program that didn't exist before with it. So we've always had audits that are looking at things like lighting and weatherization and things to save energy in the facility. Those still exist, but this is a dedicated audit or survey of a facility for the purpose of electrifying or moving towards some type of a heat pump system.
Okay.
So it doesn't get into the weatherization pieces would be a separate thing that doesn't get into that piece. This is just the heating and cooling system.
Yeah, so it'd be two separate offerings,
Yeah.
although like they still do exist. So
Yeah.
And one of the things that is nice is that when we're doing these audits, we've stressed to the expertise is really on heat pumps, but we've stressed to those folks that we want to at least acknowledge for the customer's sake, if there's an opportunity there, and if they see an opportunity for more weatherization, to communicate that to the customer so that they know, like, all right, if I do want to have that done, how do I go about it? And so they make, you'll get a nice kind of a report that comes out of it, and it will give you links to, those other programs that exist, phone numbers to call, things like that.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Well, this is the kind of help we really need. This is, as you're seeing, you're kind of getting most of our grassroots group, and we are going through the changes of the facilities director. In fact, I don't even know if the school has hired anybody yet for a new person. I don't know, Matt. It wasn't you that drove them out. It just was coincidental that he handed his resignation right around the same time as we were working together there. But I won't hold that grudge type of thing. So but yeah, so that's the only thing. It's definitely going to be, I think Susan's really has been a blessing for us. in the fact that she understands this a little bit as a actually former employee at Carrier, engineer, I should say, former engineer at Carrier. The whole idea of this, the weatherization, electrification, heat pumps are very interesting to her, especially as they're listening to the teachers talk about, the atmosphere for the kids. All right, just as an idea, I just left the building reuse committee. And so they're talking about a renovation of the old Ritter building and adding a annex or adding another building to be able to bring all of the town hall folks and all the school folks all into one facility.
Okay. So one thing to note, and the incentive programs that exist through Mass Save, especially on new construction, aren't going to be large percentages of overall project costs.
Right.
But we talk about how like most of the program is the same as it was from the last plan. The one thing that I will note that is different is for new construction projects, for them to be able to be eligible for any type of incentive through Mass Save, they cannot have a gas service delivered. So you basically can't have a gas line or a gas meter at the facility, with very few exceptions. And those exceptions are mostly for things like high ventilation change rates that you would see in like hospitals or laboratory buildings, things like that. So a public safety facility or a town hall facility most likely won't trigger any of those exceptions. So if it is a brand new ground up facility, they'd be looking to have basically no natural gas service to the facility for it to be eligible to participate in the Mass Save incentive program.
What if it's an addition to an existing and renovation of existing in conjunction with the new build?
So depending on how the space is allotted. So if it's a ground up new square footage added, that space would be treated kind of like a new building.
Yeah.
If it's a major renovation of an existing space, then it would still qualify for the program, even if the gas stays in the building. It just, we wouldn't be able to incentivize anything that's tied to that gas system. So if it's an existing gas heated facility and you're putting in new walls and new roof insulation and things like that, they wouldn't be able to claim any of the energy savings associated with that. But if you're putting in a couple of new HVAC systems for air conditioning and things like that, if they're above and beyond code, then those would still qualify for incentives as well as some lighting.
Well, the positive here is that I think the whole facility right now is on HVAC systems already. The mini splits already.
Okay.
Okay. And
yeah,
I
so
think
it's really then a question of things like if it's getting its domestic hot water from gas, and really that's the only thing, it might be worth looking at installing something like a heat pump domestic hot water system. Typically they're smaller loads, it's not a big added cost, but if that removes the gas service, then it's no longer a question because there won't be any gas at the facility.
okay. We'll keep that in mind as we move forward. Hopefully move forward with that project. It's you guys at town meeting get to tell us that whether or not we're moving forward. All right. So, and things like that. Okay. So we're going to look forward to, so is it when we apply for this or request this, is it, can we have multiple buildings on it, or is that an individual application?
No, so it's you can put as many accounts on it as you'd like. So if you have half dozen facilities that you want this done, we can do that for all of them. I would kind of caution and just say we don't want to do it just so it's a study that's going to sit there unused for 10 years. If there's a priority of facilities that make the most sense, like we had talked about Turkey Hill, I think it's a good test to just kind of have the report done. You can kind of look at what the deliverable is. Is it useful to then take it and do a few other buildings beyond that? it's a good test, if nothing else. I think
And it's a free service, so it doesn't matter if you do it in 6 visits or 1, right?
correct. But yeah, I mean, while we have the team out there, if there's 3 buildings to look at, sure, let's do it for, kind of efficiencies there. But yeah, it's going to be, the same kind of technicians that are going to be looking at this. What will change is, maybe 5 years from now, the programs as they exist today might look very different. But the goal is that it kind of takes out, just, what are the incentives that exist today, and really just what's the best technology for that site in today's, current technologies that are out there. And so I will say that it highly recommends, getting multiple quotes from vendors. And it has, basically a multi-phase component to this, where if you had the initial analysis done, they might say, all right, this is the best suited technology, a ducted heat pump system for this site. Then you would take that and you would go and get some quotes for putting in a similar system. And then they recommend the sizing that should be going in. And so it gives some flexibility. Every carrier's got a different system than Daikin, than Mitsubishi. And so they could all kind of come in with different looks and different prices. And then they say, give those quotes back to the same group. And then they'll do an analysis for you, and they'll kind of give a green, yellow, red ranking of how they think that the systems were proposed to you. So a lot of times, especially if you think of like kind of traditional HVAC systems, you might get a contractor that's basically saying like, oh, well, this is a good size unit to put in. It'll make sure that it'll cover you on the coldest of cold days. I don't want to get any calls over the weekends and overnight. So the thing is going to be running, but it might not be running the most efficiently, right? So you've got a larger inefficient system as opposed to a right size system. So they do kind of that analysis on your behalf. So you got 3 quotes, you take it back to them. They'll give you all right, this is size perfect for your heating. This one size perfect for your cooling. The spot to be is maybe right in the middle. And then they would give you kind of a best, better, worst. And so you have that, and then only you would know the costing of the proposals, but you can take that and the recommendation for the right sizing of the equipment, and then make that determination. This is the vendor that we want to go forward with, and then that could be what you then use for going out for a Green Communities grant or a proposal to Mass Save to get an incentive.
Okay. Because one of the buildings I'm thinking of on the town side would be a public safety building.
Mhm.
So, this is police and fire. How often is half the building used? Especially when I look at, I don't know how many prisoners we get. We have to have cells. How many prisoners we actually get in those things. Biggest topic there has been hot water, because the hot water to the cells is provided by the fire department side. So it literally has to travel like the length of the building just to get hot water. And the idea of prisoners' rights, where they have to have hot water in a certain amount of time. Never understood that, but anyway, that's been a big bone of contention, because you're heating this water, you're constantly circulating that system just for that type of thing. Where I looked at it is, that's a perfect example of an instant on. Now that building though, I think is on oil and propane.
Okay.
So I assume I'd be okay.
Yeah. So the nice thing about everything with our programs is it's fuel blind. So if it's oil or propane, all that means is that you'll just be dealing with the electric utility as the point person for any of those measures. If it's something where it was delivered by gas in the past, we would have the gas utility take the lead for doing an audit and any type of weatherization and other types of upgrades that were proposed. But if it's oil or propane, then everything goes through the electric utility, which I think we're the electric for all of Lunenburg.
Okay. Yeah, we looked at the public safety building for an upgrade a while ago, and the gas line makes it to Walmart and the center of town. And so it's like roughly 1.5 miles from either side. and nobody wanted to bring, neither gas utility that
Yeah.
service it wanted to bring it 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the stuff where like there has to be the kind of demand to kind of offset the costs of, running the pipe in the roads and all
Un-
that. Yeah.
Understand. Okay, excellent, excellent.
But I
Okay,
will say again, along those lines, so typically the areas that we found are the most cost effective from an operating cost perspective to electrify are the ones that have oil and propane, delivered fuels, because they're the most costly per BTU of energy. So if you can get those switched over to a heat pump hot water system or some type of electrified heating system, that's going to have your best bang for the buck.
okay, excellent, excellent, perfect. Kim, Matt, any other questions for, Kim, yeah, any other questions for Matt? Threw me off there when I said Kim, Matt, any other questions for Matt?
No, I was just a little confused about the part where it's if there was an addition versus the new build. If you could just summarize that again.
Yeah, so and it's really just how the utility incentive program exists. So we've been, kind of dictated by the state to say that they're really trying to remove any new gas services. And so one of those kind of triggers to say that we're going to draw a line in the sand is that any new square footage that's being built in Massachusetts will not have natural gas brought to it. And so, not like I said, the new construction program that we have at Mass Save isn't a huge percentage of a new construction cost. But it's one way to kind of work with those designers that are familiar with the program to say, all right, if you're doing anything and you want to participate in the program, just don't have gas attached to it. So when it's an addition, it gets really down to the how it's defined. So when you're building something up from the ground up, it has to adhere to the latest energy code and things like that. So when if it triggers that code requirement that basically says it's going to meet the latest and greatest, then it basically is no gas if you want to participate in the Mass Save program. You can still have gas, you're just not going to be able to get an incentive on some of those measures that you put in there. So it's a decision for the design team as they're starting to look at it. And as we're rolling out the new program, we're constantly working with a lot of the design firms, architects, and engineers that are doing work all across the state. They're getting brought up to speed on these new changes. We started doing it at the end of 2024. So any new projects that have been happening for like the last year, folks have been made aware that this change is happening. And it's not just on new construction. It's like if you had a gas boiler for your home and then it failed in the past, if you put in the most high efficient gas boiler, you'd be eligible for some incentive. That's no longer the case. So moving forward, gas appliances, gas equipment is being removed from the energy efficiency program through Mass Save.
Okay, so it sounds like as long as the new addition kind of has a separate, if the old building has like oil and gas and whatnot, as long as the new part has the new ties, like it's just not connected to that system, it's fine.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess what I'll say too. So I'll share the link to sign up for those decarbonization audits. But like I said, if you just kind of let me know if your team wants to get together and throw out a handful of dates and times that would work best for your group and the facilities that you want to look at, you can also just email me and I'll work with the kind of the auditing team to make sure that we pick a time that works for everybody and that we could get on site as well.
Let me talk to the schools and figure out what works for them. Obviously, it's a fun time of year as they approach the end of the school year. So
Yes.
plus we're still waiting to hear whether we received the grant from the green on on that as well.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if you had heard that. Yes or no.
I have not heard anything yet. So in fact, I was hoping Kelly was going to join and she was going to tell me some great news. But so far, maybe the fact that she hasn't joined is making me worry here a little bit. But
Well, no. But yeah, keep me posted on that. Like I said, once it's official that you've heard and it's going to move forward, then we'll update our application documentation and we'll send that along. But our funding is committed, so we're ready for that. Hopefully, you do get that grant.
And by the way, Matt, on that, even if I'm looking at it, I might look at retrofitting what's been done, just so that we can possibly explore it a little bit. You know, I know the green was the idea there was I was going to get me a few extra mini splits.
Yeah.
However, I still believe that your incentive programs and the benefit that that's going to bring is enough.
Yeah, I mean it.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm letting Kelly in now, guys. I'm warning you. No, I'm only, she'll be popping in shortly.
okay. I'll hang and see if Kelly's got anything from me as well.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for being late.
That's
Kelly.
all right.
Kelly.
That's all right. Do you want us to start from the beginning, Kelly, again? No, I'm just kidding with you. So that's okay.
Not unless I need to know every single thing that was said.
Right. Right. So Kelly, Matt was is just explaining to us the program that's been available to help the town with identifying and outlining projects, as
Okay.
well as the whole process of actually reviewing bids and helping us make it with that decision making. This is an excellent tool that we will be taking advantage of.
So Kelly,
So
this
Matt,
is-
part of the process is scoping the project and helping review bids. Sorry, I just wanted to.
yeah.
that's
So
new to me, too.
so just describing the new we're calling them decarbonization audits, but essentially looking at facilities that are interested in electrifying and how we'll have some technical services go there, make sure that they're identifying what is the best type of heat pump system that would serve their facility, sizing of their loads as far as where to fall in from a sizing perspective on their heating and cooling loads, and then once those determinations have been made and the customer is interested in going out and getting bids, there's a second phase of that service where they can bring those proposals back to this organization, and they would kind of do a good, better, best analysis of 3 proposals and say this one is sized most equal to your heating and cooling loads, therefore from a sizing perspective is the best fit for your facility. And then from that point the customer can then go out and get if they wanted to award or however they wanted to move forward, when they have one vendor that they're likely to move ahead with, they can then go through our program depending on the size of the system to get a kind of rebate commitment letter so that they know exactly what would be available to them if they move forward.
Yeah, that sounds like what you were looking for, Dave. I know. So Dave initially reached out to me and was asking about META, which is the Municipal Energy Technical Assistance Grant that allows for consulting services that's due on Friday for green communities. And when he started talking to me, I'm like, I think you want to reach out to Matt for the school and find out what they're rolling out. Because you had mentioned it to me for another town that it would be that was added to the new 3-year plan. It just sounded better for what they were looking for it's at Turkey Elementary School, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
At least that's what we talked about before. Yeah. And that it's very high level. I'm sure there's yet more detailed technical analyses that can be done and would give you even more detail, but it's a good first step to figure out, what you want to go ahead with. And I think it could, if nothing else, it can kind of furnish those more detailed analyses if need be. But a lot of people, for similar size facilities, use just this analysis to kind of take it to the next level of getting quotes.
So the big thing for us, Kelly, is looking at it is just to help with, what's the scope of the system? What's
Okay.
the system should look like, so that I'm not just going to contractors and saying, give me your bids, and then trying to decipher bids as a non-technical person,
Yeah.
So that's I felt this one is making me feel more comfortable with the fact that I'm going to end up with both sides of this program. One, an idea of the sizing, and two, once it's done, being able to understand whether the contractor is giving me what I really want, or what we
Yeah.
really need.
And it's might be a good thing to, like we said, kind of test it out at the two facilities, right? The municipal center that you were interested in, as well as Turkey Hill. Have them come and look at both the facilities, get 2 reports, see what it kind of gives you, and is it detailed enough for you to take it to that next level? And if not, let's talk to those auditors about what's missing, what we need before you can go out and get some detailed quotes from vendors.
So Matt, these are available for schools and municipal buildings?
Yeah, it's new, so it's open to really anybody, any commercial customer. But I've let it's kind of been a soft opening, if you will, that they haven't had a ton of demand. It's been in place for residential customers for about a year, so it's a little bit more tried and true there. But for commercial customers, we've only had a few dozen so far, and I've let them know that that Lunenburg is interested, at least for the school, and if more than one facility, great, let's bang out 1 or 2.
So actually, Matt, I'm sorry. So this is actually, if I wanted to look at my house, doing this for my home, I could as well?
Yeah, so there's an existing system. So the same organizations that is doing it, they have both a residential team and a commercial team. So the residential program has been in place for just about a year. And so same thing, if you go to the Mass Save page and look at the residential heat pump program, you'll see that there's a consultation program that's there for signing up. And like I said, I'll send the link to everybody after this for the commercial sign up page. But basically from there, you can just pick up, pick a date and time. And what they typically do for the residential is that it's going to be a virtual audit. So they'll do most of this remotely. But for the commercial, they also do it remotely. But if you want to have it done in person, which I would recommend, for our site here, that we would have them come and do it in person.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
What's the name of the company?
Say that again.
What's the name of the company?
So it's CET is the
okay.
company that's doing it there as a subcontractor to Abode, who we
Yeah, I
use.
know Abode and CET. And so Dave, there's been communities that have worked with Abode for a while through like Mass Energize, like Acton's worked with Abode as like, basically, I forget the name they call them, but like they help them through the process. A lot of the residents of putting heat pumps there. So a lot of communities have been working with Abode for a long time, kind of as a concierge is what they call them,
Cool.
helping them with heat pumps.
Okay. Well,
But
like
this
I
is
said,
different than what Mass Save's offering, but I'm just saying Abode's kind of been working on the residential side of helping residents understand like what's the best system and how it would look and like all the questions in their house.
Oh, all right. Now we definitely have learned through the streetlights that having a consultant is a lot easier than trying to do everything yourself. You don't, when you don't know the questions, when you don't know what you're talking about, it's tough to ask the questions.
Sure.
As I say. Okay, excellent. Matt, I appreciate it. Kelly, you have any other questions for Matt? Just because you jumped on late, but I figured
The only other question I have, which I'm learning about right now too, so I don't have some projects that have considered it, is just, and I know that the utilities are tied in because I was on a big call with MSBA with the utilities, but just the new program, the Green Repair Mass Works at 250, that's heat pumps, but it is specific to existing schools, and heat pumps are now instead of boilers. And I don't have any question, but I would just say, obviously the utilities doing these decarbonization projects and the kind of costs seen coming back for schools and electrifying, it looks like that will be a very popular program. I have seen a couple schools already have challenges that that roof, the age of the roof is gonna definitely make it so some aren't eligible.
Yeah, I can understand that. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so and I told you about that, Dave. I would definitely keep
Yes.
an eye on that funding for existing schools looking to electrify.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Okay, super.
Kelly, for that, would you be kind of directing towns and school systems to go that route as opposed to the Green Communities Grant Program?
I mean,
or-
that's like so it's a more in-depth process. I think there's schools that might do both.
Okay.
I mean, the
So it doesn't- one doesn't,
500,000, like I have
prohibit
one
you.
school right now that's looking at a $7 million project for just HVAC, and it's only a portion of their high school. So like, when you're looking at those kind of numbers, I think they're gonna look at, like, that program has 250 million, and they're also gonna provide a percentage of it, but that's probably could be a lot more than 500,000. So I would assume that there's bigger projects that could be going that way. I'm not saying like the primary school worked out good for green communities. Turkey Elementary School could, but that's another funding source for specific schools with the amount of schools that want to go this direction. I think that's why MSBA has rolled out the new program and adapted it from boilers to heat pumps.
Yeah.
So I would say it depends. I don't see why they couldn't do both if the timing worked. I will be honest though, when you get into large scale projects of significant capital, the design teams sometimes look at our little grant for green communities. And I know the utilities sometimes see it depending on how much they're offering for incentives. And it's sometimes with too many people and too many grant opportunities, it can be difficult. So MSBA might be sometimes the route to go with some of them based on timing and the amount of funding they can provide based on the percentage.
All right, well, we'll keep that all in mind as we move forward.
But speaking of our grants, the announcement is very soon.
Okay, that was my next question for you.
Like really, really soon.
Okay. As in,
Keep us posted.
yeah,
Yeah, like, the next couple days.
okay.
But actually, like now we know it's coming in the next couple days.
Excellent, excellent. Well, it's nice to have, what good, bad, or indifferent. It's nice to rip off the Band-Aid, as they say.
Mhm.
Yeah. And know where we're going, but we're gonna be excited. We're very, we're hoping the proposal was done well, and we're hoping we can participate in the next grant round.
The next Green Communities grant round?
Well, no, that in this grant round, I should say,
Oh.
this Green Communities.
I
grant.
thought you were already thinking of a future grant. I was like, Dave, wow. I was like, you're like motivated over there to get Green Communities grant funding.
Well, I'm trying to do something, as I say. That's
I
why
think you're doing
that's the
right thing
biggest
now,
thing.
but I mean, this is a better step to meet now, like I was saying, see what
Yeah.
you can get for an assessment, get way ahead of it. Cause I know that, even putting the application together, Matt and I kind of worked a lot with facilities and such, but like if you talk to energy managers or directors, sustainability directors, they're like, get the proposals and the assessments going. So when the grant opportunities are there, you're kind of lining yourself up instead of trying to rush. Cause it's not easy to scope these projects out.
Agree 100%. And I like I say, our biggest challenge was the changing of the guard in town, and then
Yeah.
just getting people to understand, that kind of thing. Everybody's got their set feelings,
Yeah.
and they're told something by what they feel is a professional, and they're going to go that route, whether they want to, whether it's the gospel or not.
Do you have a new facilities person coming on board?
My understanding, well, for the schools, I don't know if they've hired somebody just yet.
Okay.
I haven't heard, but I know that they opened up the scope of what they're looking for.
Okay. I mean, based on if you get the grant award and even the new assessment you're looking to do it, obviously having a facilities person's key.
Yes, understand. If not, we're gonna make Susan our new facilities director when it comes to that project. Let's put it that way. So
I don't know how excited she'll be about that, but Does
It
she
doesn't
know
matter.
that?
She'll get to use her engineering degree, so what can I say, you know?
Well, that's,
Cool, cool. Excellent. Well, Kim, Matt, any questions for Kelly and Matt?
No?
All right.
Well, thanks for having us come, and look forward to working with your team on new projects going forward, and hopefully we'll hear positive stuff from DOER in the next few days.
Yep, exactly.
could even be tomorrow.
Ooh.
Excellent, excellent. All right, yeah, we are keeping our fingers crossed, and we'll keep the prayers going. So hopefully we hear good words.
Great.
And then, I think, sorry about being late. I apologize.
That's all right, Kelly.
I had to do a pickup and my son was not ready to go. So no surprise there. I don't know where the communication went with the 13-year-old. I had a meeting. Somehow it was not heard.
Yes, I can't imagine a 15-year-old not taking your ideas as top priority.
Yeah, that's okay. I told him the next time you need a ride to your practice, you're gonna have to tell your coach, I'm sorry, my mom didn't hear what time I was supposed to be there. I didn't tell her. I'll be like,
Yes.
he's like, he'd make me sprint. I'm like, well, it's like being late to a meeting isn't good either.
Exactly. Super.
But great. Well, yep, wait for the news. Not this week, and then let me know how this moves forward. I know you're working with Matt on this, but have you seen the information on the MSBA program, Dave? Did you get, I know we blasted out in one of our green communities e-blast. I don't know if Matt has sent it along, but it's good to have on your radar. It's going to be, I think it's open like every other year. So it's kind of something you kind of have to time up to come in that program. And it's not, I don't think it's as easy as the middle as green communities. I think there's more involved with these kind of projects going through the MSBA program, but
All right.
something to keep on your radar.
Okay, Kelly, is that something you can be sent to me just to put it on the top of my radar?
Yeah, I'll look it up. I have a separate email that kind of goes over it so you can look into it and start
Thank
to
you.
understand it. It's new. And I think it's open. Matt, you might know more. Like I just have a bunch of school projects looking at it that we're looking at it, but I don't know exactly the timing and stuff. And obviously we're not the lead. It's just, we want to know about any funding sources for these school projects.
Yes, and we'll have to look at that because it's part of the thing is just how we use the buildings and things of that sort too. So yes.
Yeah, well, it's roofs, heat pumps, and I think windows, right? So.
Okay. All right. Excellent. That's perfect. They said for Turkey, that might be that's just the 3 categories we need most. So
Yeah, how old's the roof?
depends on which section you're looking at.
Okay.
In other words, it's been patched in several times. I don't know if I don't know the last time they did the full roof. I would have to look at that again.
Okay.
But we could be looking at, I'm gonna suspect it's over 10 years.
Yeah, so that puts you into the spot where you would be able to be eligible. I guess if it's over 25 years, they want like roof replacement more, which some schools aren't looking at it to like 40 years. So I've been getting different feedback from schools on that. But if you're only 10 years, like 10 years ago, you replaced the roof or you patched it.
I don't know. I'd have to look
Okay.
into it. I don't know that for,
I think that can all be something that, I mean, this obviously the assessment has to be done and costs are way ahead of it, but that's the one thing that I've heard that's coming out from schools to be aware of being eligible for that program.
Okay. All right. We'll definitely take a look at that.
All right. Well, thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks guys for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thanks again
Bye.
for all your time. All right, guys, your thoughts? Does this seem like two viable paths?
Yeah. I think, certainly the assessment piece there with Unitil feels like that makes a lot of sense and gives some good intel into what can be done on the various town projects and buildings. I mean, it's free assessment, can't beat
Yeah.
the price.
Well,
And the back end part too, where like once
Yeah.
we get the bids, I
Right.
think that's super helpful because we have it. We're like, okay, what we can do, is it actually going to work? So yeah, I feel like you get double.
well, I actually like it because it's not us trying to tell them this is a good method.
Right.
It's, it's an independent party telling them this is a good method type
Right.
of thing.
Mhm.
And, which might be easier to get people to understand than, just a couple of citizens trying to say, hey, we know what we're talking about. type of
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, super. All right, so let me go. I'm gonna jump quickly into styrofoam.
Okay.
Tyler's done some really good work here. He apologizes, had hockey practice at this time. I forgot that 7 o'clock was hockey practice. It's all right. 5:30, I had building reuse. Another topic for over a couple of beverages. But anyway,
Mhm.
I think he's found a grant that might help with that dumpster part.
Great.
Okay, so we're gonna try to pursue that a little bit more and get with that. The bags are very large bags. I think he was trying to say it was like larger than a construction bag, like larger than a contractor bag type
So
of
like a
bag.
55-gallon type
Yeah,
trash
but
bag.
larger than that. I'm
Oh,
trying to
wow.
get the exact number. Hold on, let me see if I can find that.
And these bags were for people to buy, or no, these were the reusable bags.
Actually, what they are is they're 5 foot by 5 foot by 6 foot Gaylord liners.
Okay.
If you have a Gaylord box, you can use it as a frame for the bags. If you cut one side of the box so its wings open like a door, it's easy to get the full bag out rather than lifting it up out of the box. Okay. And then he actually found Wachusett Watershed Recycling in West Boylston is one of the places that uses this gold circuit e-cycling thing. So it's someplace we can talk to about what they're seeing for costs and all that stuff.
What was that part?
So there's a place in West Boylston that's using this company, Gold Circuit E-Cycling. This is the company that in Agawam that Tyler found.
Mm,
And we can, talk to them about the cost,
Yeah.
how it's
okay,
working out with the container and all that stuff.
okay.
Okay. So it's, not just taking this guy's word for it, but,
Yep.
Mhm.
all that stuff. But that's a large bag, 5 foot by 5 foot by 6 foot. That's a
Well, you
lot of
have to
space.
fill it up, or I guess how would we be using the bags? Did he mention? So like,
So the thought would be is that we get one of these Gaylord boxes
mhm.
for Hannaford. They
So
can
it'd be
then
like a collection station. People would bring their styrofoam and
and
drop it in that bin.
yeah, drop it in this big bin, which would be that 5 foot by 5 foot by 6 foot bag. When the bin is full, they can put it into the container.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so this way it's also that, it might limit the amount of times that Hannaford has to deal with this stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Because
it's nice people just pop it in, like they don't have to like package it in any way or do anything. It's just on their way in, dump it in that box.
yes,
Yeah.
correct, yes. So it could, once again, trying to get it as much as we can self-serve.
Mhm.
I'm trying to avoid that. So he did find like I said, he found a grant opportunity. He's going to pursue a little bit, and I still have to bug the town about getting him on the committee.
Mm.
What'll be interesting is how well people respect what it's there for.
Yes,
Mm.
agree.
That's my biggest concern is does it become just another dumping ground for whatever people decide to throw out or what people actually embrace? It's white styrofoam only. It's a way to get rid of that stuff in a more environmentally friendly way. I think you
Mhm.
came up at the last meeting. If it's more of a hassle for people, there's a lot of people may not partake, which is fine, but I just don't want it to be like, oh, people are throwing their chewing gum in there and they're throwing whatever other
Yeah.
crap, because it's and looks like a big trash bin, so
Uh,
Yeah, I think it being in like a lobby of Hannaford and not just outside would make a huge
right.
difference because it's, has
Yeah, it's
cameras,
a
there's
little
people
more
there.
controlled. Yep.
Yeah, and then if it was like really obvious on the outside of what it was,
Right.
yeah, that would hopefully help. But I
Yeah.
think like, especially if it was free, like I would use it. I tell everyone about it. You know, I would pay, when I
Oh,
got
yeah.
stuff for my house, I moved in, I'm like, I got so much styrofoam that I had to pay to throw away. And I'm like, I wish we had this. So it'd be really neat.
Mhm.
Understand. So believe me, I'm sitting here building a house and, every kitchen cabinet, every this, every that. I can't tell you how much cardboard I've had to throw
Mm,
out. And my problem is because I didn't have water, they won't give me a recycling bin. So I'm sitting there and it's going out into the normal trash. So I'm hoping the trash actually does something and separates it. But, I'm sitting there bundling up styrofoam.
yeah.
Like, a, 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 tub comes in styrofoam. I mean, tub comes in cardboard. What do you
Mhm.
do with these boxes and things like that? It's
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we just did a big IKEA thing with some like a closet system, and what I
Yeah.
was impressed was that there's no styrofoam.
Mm.
They have like honeycomb cardboard pieces that fill the styrofoam gaps.
Okay.
Nice.
So
That's cool.
I like that it's cardboard. It's a bit more recyclable than the styrofoam. So,
Yeah. So
but I still
you
have
must,
to break it all down and put it into stuff to have it
Stacks.
to get
Yeah.
rid of it. But
right?
2x2.
I don't know how you guys are, but I have a big 55-gallon drum, but they've still given me a hard time if I don't fold the styrofoam down or cut it down to a certain size.
the cardboard you're talking about, yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah, it has to be
cardboard. I'm
like,
sorry, the cardboard. Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, they would leave it at my house if I didn't cut it down. So I'm like, I'm out there middle of the night cutting it into 2 feet by 2 feet squares.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
They wouldn't pick it up.
Yeah. And by the way, that's the funny thing is it's a 55-gallon drum. So they just hook it to the back of the truck. It lifts it and throws it in there. So it's
right.
not like they're lifting anything. It's
Yeah,
like,
they're
why
not
should they
handling it
care?
necessarily, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They handle mine. They like pick it up with their hands on my barrels. They're
Understand.
here. Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I'm like, where can I get this automated?
yeah. No, we don't, I don't know how you guys are, but I have like half a container of recycling and one bag of trash every week.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
there's pay as you throw.
We do the big trash bags, so we usually get like 3 kitchen bags in them. So it's like every 2 weeks I put trash out, and I just
Oh,
have it
okay.
sit in a trash bin out at the house. But I have recycling out every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he's gonna find out more information,
Right.
and then be able to report back. The gentleman from the gentleman from this, um, Gold Circuit e-cycling did agree to say, he'll join us for a meeting if we want to talk, but I would think at this point, I'm gonna probably want to reach out to West Boylston first
Yeah.
and see what their experience has been like on this.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I
That's a
think
good
of
idea.
West Boylston as being roughly the same kind of town as we are. Maybe it's probably larger. It's a larger town than we are,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
But still like has, open spaces, a mixture of maybe, people's backgrounds and financial situations. So,
right.
and wanting to be, more green focused. I think it's probably pretty aligned.
Yeah, so I'd like to, the big understanding is whether they charge for it or not,
Yeah.
how they do their trash and stuff like that. So, that kind of thing. Okay,
Mhm.
super, super. All right, did we have anything else, guys, for tonight?
No.
I don't think so.
You're thinking too hard. All right,
Mhm.
all right, so I'll,
Oh, one thing. So I just got out of the master plan steering committee
oh, yeah,
meeting.
how's that?
I don't know. I am really unhappy with how it's going. I think all of the ideas that they've kind of put together are super random and not really taking into consideration like what the town actually can do. So from that, I think what they were discussing is getting more people from the committees versus from the public to provide input, because people in committees are usually closer to what's happening and understanding, the finances, the other projects that are happening, to try to, I don't know, get a more realistic what we want to do, especially considering like the building reuse stuff. Because a lot of the ideas that are on the proposed spreadsheet plan right now from the consultant over under talks about how people want to do stuff to the schools and all of that. And so it's without people from other committees that actually know what's happening, it's kind of hard. I don't know. I feel like to make a plan, whereas we're just taking a bunch of random people's ideas, which are
Yeah.
great, but I want to make I want it to be a realistic plan. And I think right now with information that's there, I don't know if that'll be. So they're seeking input from committees, long story short. So if anyone has ideas or wants to provide input, there'll be another meeting in the future, hopefully.
All
Maybe
right,
I
well,
can let you know.
yeah, no, thank you, Kim. In fact, I know my, my building reuse rep, Tony Scalabrito, I know he joined the meeting, and
He
I'm
was
sure
there.
he wasn't shy about being vocal.
Yes, yeah, it's one of the committees. He mentioned that, and then agricultural preservation as well. He mentioned that where they didn't really have representation on the committee. There's a lot. We don't know what committees were chosen, but there's a lot that were omitted, which is those two were included. So yes, no, he wants to join the committee, which is great because he has a lot of opinions, but you can only do so much when you have a consultant that doesn't even go to your meeting.
Ouch, okay,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm unhappy.
understand, understand. Well,
Yikes.
welcome to Lunenburg politics.
Yes, thank you. But no, that's all I had was just kind of like an inform on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a quickie thing on the building reuse, I don't know if you saw the presentation to the Board of Selectmen, but basically they're talking about doing town offices and school offices with a annex to the Ritter Building. And they're looking at heat pumps throughout the whole thing originally. And they've also talked about having like solar, possibly doing a solar charger canopy solar panel canopy, so that you can have some covering in the parking lot, and then doing a couple of car chargers. So I told them that that we have seen through grants, different state grants, that they are if the infrastructure is there, they're willing to give the free EV chargers. However, the infrastructure has to be in there. It was interesting because they talked about, based on the number of people in town, they talked about 21 EV chargers. I don't think there's 21 electric vehicles in Lunenburg.
Yeah, I'd agree there.
If you build it, they will come, Dave.
Okay. Yeah, they'll all come to charge in the center of town and sit there
Exactly.
and enjoy such a shopping experience in that downtown center,
Right.
right?
Stop, charge, grab a beer at Bad Larry's, continue on your way to Groton or wherever.
Exactly.
Perfect.
All right, super
Hmm.
guys. So that's all I had for tonight.
Okay.
We'll try to do this again, begin first of March. I'm sorry,
April.
1st of April.
Was that an April Fool's joke early?
No. Hey, I'm down in Florida. It was a balmy 76 today.
Oh, so jealous. It's like 14 degrees
I was
here.
gonna say we were in the teens.
Yeah.
You're missing out, Dave.
Yeah, I haven't taken shorts off since I got here. So
Hey, there's no snowboarding down there though, so
no, there is no snowboarding, but you could go surfing instead, All right.
Yep. So I think April 7th is the first Monday of April. So maybe that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. 7th.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So I'll go for a motion.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All right. I'll take that as a yes, and I'll go for a yes, and tell you guys have a great evening, and thanks again for everything.
You too.
Great. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dave.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Dave. Bye.
Bye.